Okay, we're here in this particular session to take a look at using the VTE Pro program, which allows us to create the touch panels that are used on the Crestron system. First thing we want to do is find the file that we're going to be working with. In this case, it's called Training Room, right here. So we'll go ahead and load that in. Alright, let's expand this. Now notice that we have the program file itself called Training Room, which is right here. And then below this we have several items to look at. The AVIA, the AVIA 1, Blu-ray, displays, source select, and wall presets. Each of these is a page that's been created for use in this system. I'll go ahead and open each one. There's wall preselects. Now this has all the graphic information for that particular page. What you see here, this is actually a graphic background that I created using AutoCAD and Paint that creates the graphic of the various screen configurations. On top of that, I've placed buttons, and you can see here each one of these is a kind of a yellowish color. These are actually windows that are on top of the buttons, and the purpose for doing this is to allow me to be able to highlight each one of these screens as they're selected. So in their operational mode, these screens will go, they'll normally be clear, and then when I select a particular location, they'll turn yellow as an overlay. Okay, let's look at the source select page. Now all of these were set up to be operational on the touch panel that's going to be in use in this system. That's the TSW 1060-NC. Alright, up here we have source selections for video and the source selections for audio. They're the same basically. And essentially what I'm doing here is setting up a system where the media audio in the room is going to be driven from sources that you select. So it's going to be audio based on the selection of the user, as opposed to audio following video, which is the way things are sometimes done. This is the Blu-ray control, this is the displays control. This is a Blu-ray overlay, which pops up when you press Blu-ray on the control system. AVIA 1 is a layout that deals with the outputs to each of the speakers in the room. And AVIA is the primary control for the AVIA DSP. Okay. Now, opening the file is not a big deal. It's a matter of knowing where the file is and then selecting it through the File Open feature, as I showed earlier when I first came on board. I had previously used this, so I just went down here and selected it from here. But if you were going to open it manually, you would go to Open and then select the project and then go look for the project name. You can browse for that. Okay. Now, at this point, I'm not going to go through any kind of a discussion about how these various elements are created, but I will touch on this, that from this program you can go ahead and run the touch panel without actually the touch panel functions without actually having a touch panel in the system. This button up here is called the Run As button. And what this does is it creates an X panel version of the control panel. And this ties back to a video I made earlier about the way these panels function. So for instance, I can go back to the main page. Now notice here these grayed out controls deal with the DSP. Since I don't have a DSP online, these are not going to be active. But in your setup, once the DSP is online, these controls will be active and you can use them. And here's what I wanted to show you about the Blu-ray control, which was not in my earlier video. Press on that once and it brings up the Blu-ray control panel as an overlay to the front page. If you want to get rid of that, just click on this again, or you can click on one of the other pages to move to a different page, but you'll have to go back to main page to get rid of it. I may want to look at changing that. Okay, so that's the X panel operation. Alright, now the real critical item here is, how do you get this sent to the touch panel itself? The first thing we're going to do is to compile the program. So you would do that enter to compile project, or speed key F12 if you want to use that. It will go through that process and then it will bring you to the address book. The address book is something that you should have created an address for the DSP and for the touch panel on the network. So you would I don't have a touch panel actually here, so I didn't create this in my address book. But assuming that you have created an address book location for the touch panel, you would go ahead and select that. Excuse me. And then go down here to OK and click OK. And then once you do that, it will upload the compiled file to the touch panel. If I click OK on this, I'm going to get a message saying that I'm trying to send it to the wrong device. So we'll close out of here. It's just about that simple. Go to File, compile the project, go to the address book to tell it where you want the project to be delivered, and click OK. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So if there's anything else that you want to know about or clarify, give me a call and let me know.